Hey guys, this is Nate again, talking about the Canon EOS M3, and in this video there were two small features or two aspects of the camera that I was going to touch on, one of which is the ability for this particular camera to accept an external audio source plugged directly into the camera itself. I have another video, the M3 walkthrough, which shows where that port is, but it's on the side. That's just a feature that this camera has that some other cameras at this price point and kind of cameras like this don't always have, and so it's one benefit to this camera that I wanted to see if it was helpful. And then the other piece that I wanted to look at was I'm traveling right now, and there's occasions where I might be in a place where I might want to record a small video of me being there and saying something rather profound or just rambling on, which would probably more be the case. But I wanted to see how this camera could perform in a situation like that, especially with using external audio. And I do have two other camera type devices with me, one of which is a full frame DSLR and the other which is an iPhone. And those two, I guess, technically could do what I'm asking this to do right in a moment when I show the clip. But the full frame DSLR, it's pretty heavy, especially if you're holding out like extended like this, trying to point it at yourself. And it also doesn't have a viewfinder or a screen that you can see. So you can't really, it makes it a little bit more difficult to frame the shot. Alternatively, I could use the iPhone, and if I were to use the higher quality camera on that phone, I'd be holding it in such a way where, again, I wouldn't be able to see myself, wouldn't be able to frame it, so you might just see like half of my face. Alternatively, I could flip it around so I could see what the camera is seeing, but in that case, I'd be using a lower resolution, lower quality camera on that device. And so I thought that this camera, being light and portable, but also being high quality, would allow me to find kind of a nice blend between the two so that I could do something like this. So I'm going to show a short clip of, I was on a ferry yesterday traveling. There was a whole lot of wind, but it's just a short clip of me testing that out. The video itself is nothing all that special, but it just kind of shows how that setup could work. I wanted to see if the lens that I had on there was wide enough that I could hold it at arm's length and still kind of get myself in the shot without distorting my head way too much. And so it's kind of just looking at that, seeing what it's like to hold it. And it's not that heavy, so it was no problem for short videos. And to see how the external audio would plug in. And the audio, I'm not going to process or try to reduce the noise or anything. I plugged it into the camera. I didn't change any of the settings in the camera. It was just plugged it in, see what it does. And to be honest, I think this part of this video might be more of a testament to this little lavalier mic, which is the Rode SmartLav Plus, because it was, like I said, it was really windy out there, and the little foam thing that you put on this guy did an excellent job of cutting through that wind noise. I wouldn't say it completely got rid of it, but there was a lot of wind out there. So I would have been surprised if this could have done that. So I'm going to show that quick video or that quick clip, and I'm going to come back and show you the small little bit of hardware I had to make the lavalier hook up to the camera, and just, what I had with me, just because that might help as well. So go to that clip, and then we'll be right back. Here again, currently on a ferry between Wellington and Picton, New Zealand, between the North Island and the South Island. I just wanted to record a short video. I wanted to try how this might work using an external audio source hooked directly into the camera. I wish I really had more to say, but I just wanted to test that out. It's pretty windy, so I have no doubt that there's going to be a lot of wind noise here, and just to see how it is holding this camera. See if I could do kind of a selfie video thing, which is something that I couldn't do before with my other camera, because this has the flip-up screen. It's kind of nice. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I don't know if I'll upload this or not, but this is a nice little peaceful moment. It's a 3.5-hour ferry between the North Island and the South Island. And, yeah, a little windy, a little uneven, but it's kind of nice. I like it. So that was a sample of recording handheld with an external audio source. And so right now I'm just going to go through a quick little list of the gear, the equipment that I had. It's pretty minimal. There's not much to it, but I figured it might help. explain how I hooked it all up. So the first thing that I had was a Black Rapid strap, and it was just kind of what I had my camera connected to, and I was carrying it around. I was hoping that I'd be able to keep it on the strap when I held the camera out in front of me. However, what I realized was that even though this strap is pretty long, it wasn't long enough to reach my arm's length away, so I did have to disconnect it from the strap to hold it. However, the strap still did play a role in that I had the lavalier microphone clipped to it, and it also served as kind of storing the other end of the lavalier, where the plug, while I wasn't using it. So it still played a role, and it was still helpful to have. So I just thought I'd call it out. Next is the camera itself. So I had the camera that I seem to keep talking about. And on that camera, I had the kit lens, the 18-55, 3.5 to 5.6 STM IS-EFM LMNOP lens on it. I also have the 22mm lens, but I wanted to use this one instead because it was wider. It goes to 18 instead of 22, and I thought that might help make sure that I could fit into the frame. And it was just a little bit larger, and I thought it'd be helpful to have that kind of as a handle to help hold the camera. So you can see at 18mm in that previous clip how much room I was able to have in the frame, and I thought it worked out fairly well. It would have been nicer to be wider, but I feel it probably would have started to get a little bit distorted afterwards. So next, the audio portion of this is the Rode SmartLav Plus. It, it's a cheap little lavalier. I think it's made to hook to an iPhone, which is what I typically use it with, including right now as I'm recording this audio. And it's just a good, cheap little wired lavalier. However, one thing to note is in order to connect this to the camera, you will need to get an extra little piece. This little extra wire you see on the left is an adapter that, hold on, let me find the right name of it. It is the Rode SC3 3.5mm TRRS to TRS adapter for SmartLav, and it's only like 15 bucks. But if you don't use that, or at least when I connected just the lavalier straight to the camera, it wasn't getting an input signal. I think it needs this adapter so that it works. This is the same adapter that people will get in order to hook this lavalier into like a Zoom H1N recorder, which is what I had originally purchased it for a while ago. And luckily I had it in this case so that I could use it to record straight into the audio. So that's the equipment. Like I said, there's not much to it. The camera, the mic, and something, and just a strap, which probably isn't totally required, but it is. I do find it helpful to have that camera on a strap. It just makes it much more accessible than keeping it in like a backpack. I'm sure a shoulder bag probably would have worked just as well too, though. But that's the kit that I used to make that short little video, even though what that video may have lacked in production value, hopefully it made up for with brevity. And yeah, it's a nice feature of this camera to be able to record decent audio in that situation and have that screen that flips back so that you can kind of do little videos like this. So if you're traveling, like myself, and you want to make little videos along the way of what you're doing or where you are, this is a nice little setup. This camera plays in that situation, I think, pretty well. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And yeah, thanks for watching.